Let's get the analysis and bring in our guest, Yossi Mekelberg, Associate Fellow on the Middle East North Africa programme at Chatham House. Yossi, thank you for being with us. We apologise for the delay caused by Emmanuel Macron, but I know you, of all people, understand the pressures that we're working with, so thank you for being with us. Can you give us more about this situation we're seeing here in the West Bank? Clearly, people might be looking at what's happening in Gaza, thinking about this being obviously the Palestinian existential issue, and then you get this kind of political conflict going on. What's the background to this?
Good evening. Thank you for having me. You see, the Palestinian political system in a state of flux for a very long time. And bear in mind that there have been elections in the Palestinian, either for the role of the president or for the assembly, for more than 17 years. So there is a real issue of legitimacy deficit there. And this unity between Hamas in Gaza and the Fatah in the West Bank. So actually they've been running like two separate political entities for all means and purposes. The PA, the Fatah, was basically pushed from Gaza. Now, obviously, the events over the last 4 months created a major crisis. And obviously, yes, it's also the pressure from the United States to reform the PA, to revitalize it, to ensure that there is, by the end of the war, there is a political the political system, mechanisms there that can actually govern both the West Bank and Gaza. Otherwise, there is a danger that will go all the way back to 6 October. So the idea is that when negotiation will start beyond the ceasefire to look at the relations between the Palestinians themselves and with Israel, there will be one united Palestinian entity.
So is this leading, Yossi, to a Palestinian administration that could be acceptable in both territories? Is that the actual aim?
I think so. If you look at the name that were kind of mentioned, especially one person, Mr. Mohammed Mustafa, it's looking for more, they call it technocrats, experts. In other words, people that won't upset because they are affiliated to one political movement or another. It's obvious that, among the Palestinians, the Fatah is not popular. Israel won't allow, definitely not at this stage, for anyone that has anything to do with Hamas to play a role in Palestinian political system. So the idea to overcome it is to form a government of technocrats. And the name that was mentioned of Mr. Mohammed Mustafa, he was a senior World Bank official, is overseeing the Palestinian Investment Fund. So he's trying to look into actually dealing with the day-to-day things that bother, and rightly so, Palestinians, to look to good governance, accountability, creating jobs. For all means and purposes, the PA is bankrupt. So bringing people that can help them with recovering the economy, ensuring that, for instance, people that work there, the civil servants, can be paid, and then move. And the most important thing is reconstructing Gaza.
One of the difficult things, as I'm listening to you, Yossi, and as always, you make great sense. But I think the thing that people at home or wherever they're watching might be thinking too, and I'm thinking is this going to go any way along the way to stopping the conflict, to getting a resolution?
Obviously, this needs to come hand in hand. You need a reform, not only, by the way, the Palestinian political system, Palestinian one, also the Israeli one. It's time for new leadership in Israel. The only way to move forward in this conflict is new leaderships with new thinking and understanding. Violence, military force not going to resolve it. Otherwise, we'll be in the same place again and again, but actually to move then into some form of a two-state solution. But it's a process that should start as quickly as possible. Start with a humanitarian ceasefire, long-term ceasefire, elections on both communities, new leadership, new thinking. The international community is supporting it in different ways, the political, the diplomatic one, and the economic one. And then we can see some hope. But again, it's a long process.
Yossi Mekelberg, as always, thank you very much for joining us, Associate Fellow in the Middle East North Africa programme at Chatham House. Yossi, thank you for your analysis and thank you for your time here on France 24. We always appreciate it. Thank you very much indeed.